Hello everyone, and good evening, good afternoon. Very warm welcome or welcome back to the 100% Security Initiative. We have been through 3 weeks of this project, and it already feels like there is so much benefit from the daily meditations, from the conferences, and from the weekend workshops. And we observe how by making our soul consciousness firm, there are more peace, better concentration, better relationships. Everything seems to be better in a big way, unlimited way. And tonight we are joined by Sonja Ohlsson, who is based in Copenhagen, Denmark. And Sonja is going to take today a very interesting topic, the topic of being in the moment, being in the now, and what is the wisdom of being able to be present in the now. Sonja is a coordinator of Brahma Kumari's activities in Denmark, and she has been meditating for over 2 decades. And she has been sharing with us during this week in beautiful meditations, her vision of a future world, a world in peace, love, and harmony. So looking forward tonight to hear more from her. And also we invite you to feel free to write your questions in the chat. There will be 30 minutes of presentation followed by questions and answers, meditation, and discussion. There is translation in Spanish, so let me check once again. Looks like Olga is doing okay from English to Spanish. Is Olga having the microphone unmuted? Okay, ahora sí. So over to you, Sonja. Thank you, Olga. You're doing great.
Thank you, Iona, for the introduction. And I'm really happy to be part of this program, 100% Security, because it is so important nowadays, of course, to feel secure inside. So this topic of the now caught my renewed interest during the new year. I mean, now is such a, to be in the now is such a great topic. And I think we all have been pondering about the importance of being in the now from time to time. But what happened New Year's Eve, we had a gathering here at the center, and I asked everyone, what is your feeling about the new year to come? And I had promised myself when the pandemic started that I wouldn't make any predictions of the future anymore, because I read so many predictions, I heard so many predictions, and there's just a bit too much of it. And so I thought, okay, I will not play this game of doing predictions anymore. So it wasn't a serious question to my friends. It's more like an open question. Do you have any feelings for the new year? And we had a little discussion about it. And then what we, in our, with my friends, we normally, for every new year, we pull one of these angel cards. So I haven't talked a little bit about 2022. We pulled our cards, and I put a new set of cards this time, which I haven't used before, which is a mix of various ancient wisdom. And you see, the card I pulled was a quote by Eckhart Tolle, who is the German writer who many of you might know, who is one of the experts of being in the now. And the quote reads like this: the power of creating a better future is contained in the present moment. So you create a good future by creating a good present. And I thought, wow, that's that's a coincidence. I pulled this card because we're just talking about the future of 2022. And then I got this card saying that the future is a reflection of the moment I'm sitting in. And this is so true. So I thought we could explore the wisdom of being in the now together here tonight. And yes, you can say that if I look at myself today in this very moment, I also get the feeling of the future. And if I look at my relationships I have with people around me right now, I also get an indication of how my relationship of the future will be. But having thought about the wisdom of being in the now, I remembered some experiences I had in our spiritual headquarters in India, in Madhuban. And you see, there is a very old principle saying that everything you need is in the present moment. Everything you need on an intellectual, emotional, spiritual level is present in the moment you're in. And yes, my experiences in Madhuban really proved that to me, because what happened one year was that, you know, see, when you come to a spiritual retreat, which is very intense, with hundreds of other people for 2 weeks, a lot of things happen inside, a lot of old stuff comes up, and you have new mirrors around you, also new people you are not used to share room or dinners, groups, etc. with. So you have new mirrors and a lot of time to dig deep. So of course there is a lot of things happening inside. And I had a few days where I didn't feel very happy about myself. I didn't feel that others paid attention to me, and I wanted to speak to these people, and then I wasn't invited to their group, and I wanted to meet these people, but I was in the wrong place in the wrong moment. So I felt a bit left out. I felt a bit lonely. And after a few days, I thought, okay, Sonja, now you have to pick up yourself. You're in Madhuban, you're in a spiritual retreat. So why don't you sort of try to do something? And this was the morning meditation. And I was thinking as I walked down the walkway, and then I stopped for a moment looking around where to sit. And as I stopped, I paid attention to the moment I was in. And suddenly I feel that the whole atmosphere is full of love and care. And such a loving atmosphere, peaceful, caring. And I thought, wow, I've been in the same hall, same morning for all these days, and I didn't notice it. So I sat down a bit puzzled and I felt that which I was looking for, love and care, it was just there in front of me, but I hadn't paid attention to it. And I think our ego plays a trick, you see, because I wanted the love in a specific way, and I wanted the attention from certain people. And all these thoughts makes me blind to what's happening at the very moment. So I had such a nice morning meditation, and I thought, okay, this is going better now. And then I walked for breakfast, and there you have these elderly women, normally works as volunteers in the dinner hall, and they serve you breakfast, they give you the plate, and they looked at me with so much love. And I just melted in their loving, motherly, caring eyes. And I thought, wow, this woman, she has looked at me the same way every morning for all these days, but I didn't notice it. I didn't pay attention. And I enjoyed her moment, but this was a good teaching for me. And I thought I wasted so many days looking for love and care in certain ways, but it was just there in front of me, and I didn't see it because I wasn't in the now. So since then I have increased my habit of, if I feel there is anything I need or anything I want, or I don't feel fulfilled inside, I would stop, take a deep breath, and pay attention to what's happening in this very moment. And there is another saying that everything you want, you already have, and everything you need, you already are. So I thought we could stop together for a moment, us on this program, just for a minute or two, sit here in silence in front of the computer or the mobile. But we can stop, taking a deep breath, and I'll ask you to pay attention to which qualities are present for you in this very moment, and try to name them in your head. So let's do that together. We sit in silence and pay attention to what virtues, qualities, powers are available in this very moment. Okay, thank you. I hope you could find a few things that were satisfying for yourself. And the other thing about being in the moment is actually the wonder of the moment. And especially since the last many years I've been involved in the environment service, you can say. We have a Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative. And since I've been starting to work in this field, I notice on myself that I have more often just stopped and looked up on the blue sky and enjoy the wonder of the blue sky. Or I have more often just stopped and enjoyed the feeling of being able to drink the water. And I have stopped just paying attention to small things and enjoy the wonder. And this sense of wonder, is very nourishing for the spirit. And now for many years, I have a list where I collect moments of small happiness. And these moments of small happiness, they create this sense of wonder. So yesterday here in Copenhagen, it's very dark and it's a very, very little daylight. And most of the time the sky is gray and it's dark very early in the evening. And yesterday I came bicycling and it was cold, so I had my hood down. I didn't see very much, I just want to go home. And then suddenly I thought, okay, let me look up, and I saw the moon and the stars, and we have water here. So everything was reflecting in the water, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, wow, I'm glad I looked up. And these small moments, It's so nourishing, and we should actually have a wonder moment every day. So if I don't get this sense of wonder every day, then my practice of being in the now is lacking, a bit behind. So I had one person I live with, she cooked yesterday. And after we eaten, we say, well, this is over and done with. And then we started to think everything it takes to create a meal. You have to someone to put the seed in the ground and look after that little sapling and the vegetable that comes up and water it. And then they have to be picked up on the ground, transported and sold to somewhere, and then they have to be packaged and then being transported by road or whatever to a logistical big magazine or big storehouse for storage, and from there he has to go to the shop and someone has to pick it out from the boxes or put it on the shelf, and then I can buy it, and I need money to buy it for, so I need to work. And then we need somewhere to cook, and we need to pay the rent for the place where we can cook and eat, and finally you cook and you eat. So we started to go through all the different elements that is included in just sharing a meal together. And this created this sense of wonder inside. So I thought we could just stop now again for a minute or two to practice this sense of wonder. You can pick anything you like. We can also take the wonder of being so interconnected with the internet that we can sit here and someone is in Romania, someone in the US, and I'm up in the north. So we can maybe sit together and get the sense of wonder from the interconnectedness of everything. Thank you. I hope you could feel the magic of the connection. But then we come to the maybe deeper question, and it is I'll have to ask myself, why is it that I forget to be present in the very moment? And why is it that sometimes I go too much to the past or too much to the future, and I forget what's happening right here, right now? And when we are in the now, then what happens is that we come in touch with ourselves. And when I'm in the now and I come in touch with myself, maybe I feel joy. It's like the joy of soul consciousness, but maybe I also feel pain. Whatever is in the soul will surface when I stop and I'm in the now. And yes, we like the notion of being filled with love, joy, peace, and power. But we also have a few other things lingering around in the soul, all of us. And part of the spiritual journey is to deal with those things. So one can maybe check oneself and see if it is that I avoid being in the now. It could be that I avoid the pain that can come up when I'm in the now. So what do we do then? And I think there are many wise people around the world who can answer the question of how to deal with spiritual pain or emotional pain or mental pain much better than I can do. But in my experience and in my life, what I would do is I would first try to just look at it and be kind to myself. And I wouldn't try to fix it. You see, because if I get the observer bit mixed up with fixing, then I go too fast into action. I think too fast, oh, what I have to do now, I have to find a remedy, or I have to meditate more, I have to understand this better. And that actually takes me away from what's happening here and now. So in many ancient wisdom traditions, you would separate the observer bit from the fixing bit. And I can only go into finding a solution to this problem when I feel okay looking at whatever pain there is in the soul. So I suppose I would try to treat myself like a very good friend. And I know with good friends, if I'm sad or not happy and a good friend is with me, the best friend would just let me be a bit and be there to listen and to support me, but wouldn't necessarily try to fix it, because that can be an extra burden with people coming with hundreds of advices that you haven't asked for. But I would appreciate the kindness of other people and the time for being together with me when things are difficult. So this is how I would do. I would try to be kind to myself and just stay with it and don't resist it. So whatever pain I'm carrying in this very moment, if possible, be loving to the self and be loving to the problem and be loving to the pain. And love is a transformative power. So love would sometimes makes this pain go away. And you can say meditation is also love in a sense. Meditation is loving the self as a soul, or it is love to the supreme soul. But this takes courage, because it makes you vulnerable for a moment. You open the heart to the now, and you don't know what's going to come. This makes you a bit vulnerable. But that vulnerability will allow the love of God and the love of yourself to emerge. And you will have, I'm sure you will have a very beautiful experience in the end of it. But that takes courage. But it's interesting to look at the word courage, because that also includes love. Core, I think it is Latin or Greek, I'm not sure, one of the two. Core means heart, like in cordial. And so the word courage comes from being in the heart. So I can take my courage from love. And I can also take it from the understanding of what will happen if I don't do this. Because if I don't look at the now, then I will put everything I'm feeling, I will put it over to other people. So I will project my pain to others. And that creates such complications. So just thinking about it might give you the power to look at it yourself. So when practicing this for a day, for two, for as long as you need, and then I can sit in the very moment and be together with myself and whatever pain there is, whilst feeling loving and kind, then I'm ready to think of whatever solution to this problem there can be. And the solutions, well, it's you will have to find out. You go to your spiritual studies, spiritual teachers, you go to the books, you go deep inside in your soul consciousness, you talk to God, you talk to Google, whatever. There are so many solutions there. But you will find it because you're coming from a place of love rather than fear. And I feel doing this very deep work will make it's easier and more natural to be in the now and to enjoy whatever there is. So it's also worth exploring friendship, because I can be a good friend to myself, but I can, in that sense, also make the past and the future my good friends. So maybe we will have to work out what is the qualities of good friendship, and then I can use that for my past and for my future. So I hope you could use all of this, and we can do a meditation later, along whatever the time there is on being in the moment. But I will hand over to Iona right now, I think, and see if there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Sonja. Very clear and very beautiful description of your own experience of being in the now. That is worth a million when whatever we say is coming from our own experience. So it would be nice to invite others to ask a question or come into sound or comment on what you shared. And what came to mind is the subject of waste thoughts. So maybe until others will ask a question, it would be nice if you want just to quickly give us your best tips on how to deal with waste thoughts, because we may want to be in the now, but this cyclical thinking cannot be easily stopped by some of us.
So thank you for a very good question. But for myself, I would separate negative thinking and waste thinking. Because negative thoughts, real negative thoughts, they take a lot of energy, but I often know them very well. And I think all of us, we have a favorite negative thought. And it's very important to identify that one. It could be, for example, if you have this one thought, you know beforehand that a long queue of other negative thoughts will suddenly appear, and you will have a really bad mood for some time. It could be a thought like, why do I always have to do this, and why is nobody helping, for example. And if you know with yourself, if you think that thought, okay, many other thoughts will come, so I'm a bit careful. And if we know ourselves well, I can avoid this thought. I can see when it's coming and stop it and keep my good mood. But real negative thoughts, they often have their roots in the past, in upbringing, in traumas, in kind of bad experiences in general. And this needs to be treated over a long time, with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of care. I can slowly replace the negative attitudes and responses with positive, but that takes many years. But then we have another group of thoughts which takes a lot of our energy, and that is in general just waste thoughts. And these waste thoughts, they're not necessarily very negative. They are just sort of this background noise that's in the head all the time. Some people say that 95% of our thoughts is repetition. Just the same thoughts as you said. So it's very important that I'm aware of what I'm repeating all the time. Because our thoughts, as you know, will have a big consequence on myself. So waste thought, it could be worry in the future. And they say 65% of all worry is just absolutely without reason. It's a habit. And for the past, it could be disappointment, or it could be complaints, or why did I do that, or why didn't I do that? But waste thoughts can also be just a lack of concentration, like the mind is multitasking all the time. So I'm doing one thing, and instead of being with that one task, my mind goes to the other task, which I'm about to do next, and then to the other, and then to the other. And after a while, the mind goes back here and now. I'm a little bit with the task I'm sitting with, and then the mind goes the same again. So all these waste thoughts, it could also be what others do and don't do, and what others think and don't think, and it's like this mental gossip that's going on. These waste thoughts, they don't go as deep into the soul as the negative thoughts. So the waste thoughts, they go more easy away with attention. If I stop from time to time and ask myself, what have I just been thinking about? And then I thought, okay, this thought I've already had 10 times today. Do I really need it anymore? No, this thought can go. I say hello to you tomorrow, but now in no more need today, like this. And then you maybe worry about the future, and the worry, you can say to yourself, I will worry 1 hour every day and put that 1 hour in the evening. You can say between 6 and 7 in the evening is your worry time. So when you start to worry in the morning, you say, okay, I'll wait until 6 o'clock. It is like treating the mind as a little child. You have to be fairly smart. And when you come to 6 o'clock, you've forgotten half of what you were to worry about. So you have down to maybe 10, 15 minutes of worry, and that's maybe okay. And so this is what I do with the waste thoughts. I sort of talk to them. And first of all, you have to find out what your mind is going on about. And then see how you can sort with it. Another very good method with waste thoughts would be to sort all your thoughts in things you can do something about and things you cannot do something about. So make a brainstorm of what you've been thinking today, and then put them in these two simple categories. Can I do something about this, or can I not do anything about it? And those things you can't do anything about, you just leave them there on the paper, and you concentrate on those things you can do something about. And as this becomes a habit, and then you learn to let go of the things that you can't do anything about. And your waste thoughts has maybe decreased by half, I would say. So I don't know, Iona, if you could use anything of that, but this is what I do.
Yes, definitely, it's useful. And in particular, I think it's useful to make the distinction between poor concentration and waste thoughts. And both have to be addressed, maybe by different strategies, different ways of understanding your mind and applying the spiritual knowledge to deal with poor concentration or deal with waste thoughts. So thank you for making that clarification. And then it would be nice to hear the comment from Ada. What was your answer to the question, why can't I be in the now? Why I cannot be in the now? So maybe very succinctly, because you have already mentioned a few things, but how would you summarize why we are not in the now? What are the main, maybe 3 reasons?
Yeah,
If
because
I
it's
have
quite
3.
personal. It's quite personal, right? And the first thing I mentioned is that whatever I feel I need, I have decided how I want it to be beforehand. I can take another example. You see, I used to work in a doctor's clinic, and there they used to have the magazine on family magazine and children's magazine. There used to be this advertisement of a happy family in the morning, where the kids are very well dressed and the parents, they look all sort of not tired and very piffy and ready to go to work, and the kids are happy, eating peacefully. But then when I look around in the waiting room to the doctor's clinic, most families are not like that. And I talked to one family, and they say whenever we compare ourselves with this advertisement, we feel like a real bad family because our mornings are not like that. Our parents are tired and the kids are screaming and the breakfast is not peaceful. But she said, then if I stop comparing and just focus on our mornings, and they are a bit wild, but actually the atmosphere is anyhow quite okay. And I can feel the love we have for each other. And if we can take a bit of that chaos in the morning, a bit light-hearted, actually our mornings are quite okay. So I think in that sense, one reason I can't enjoy the now is because I do comparison and I want things to be different than to what they are. So if I can maybe drop that comparison and just focus on what's here, I will find that everything I need is here. And let go of the ego that wants things to be in a certain way. So when I let go of that, I will notice that what I wanted is here with me, but maybe in a different way to what I had foreseen. And the other thing that makes us not being in the now would be that there is pain in the now.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And there is another.
And that pain, you know, we talked a little bit on what you can deal with it, but it has to be addressed somehow. And maybe the third reason then, as you said, Diona, would maybe be waste thoughts. Just a habit of not concentrating, just thinking too much and not having good structured day-to-day life. Let's say I'm going shopping after work, and instead of writing all the things down I need, I think them every hour. So that's if I'm buying 8 things and I'm away for 10 hours, there's 80 thoughts. It's just going on the shopping list. And these 80 thoughts could maybe be some very other transformative thoughts. So I like to pay attention a little bit where my mind goes and what it does, and structure it a bit. Yeah.
I'm aware of time. We still have plenty of time. So Joan is asking, or maybe commenting, I had many ruminating thoughts of past trauma and found using a method based on tapping for a short time was useful, helpful. And then with Raja Yoga study and remembrance of God, that got rid me of past negatives. Yeah. So it is more like a comment what helped her.
Yeah, but I have actually experienced the same. Now I've been meditating for a long time, so but for other people who are new to meditation and have a lot of pain, I can see going through the body is actually helpful. For some people who go be for a walk or do some hatha yoga or do some breathing exercises. And this yoga or breathing or tapping, it sort of helps you to be present with the body in this very moment. And then you teach the mind to be present with the body. And after a while, you also teach yourself to be present beyond the body, deep in the soul. So if one has a very restless nature, these physical exercises can be a very good way into the soul, I would say.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Then we can go and have a little bit of jogging and then come back and sit for meditation. You would say it will work.
Yeah.
We sit a little bit too long recently.
Yeah.
But I can see that that can also help us to tolerate that discomfort that you are speaking about. You're speaking about pain. Sometimes I feel it's just a discomfort. And being able to tolerate a little bit of discomfort of not eating now, or not drinking water, or not moving, that helps me to appreciate what we have now and don't look at what I don't have now. And it can be very valuable because sometimes you may not have that friends around you, or food, or water, or whatever. But if you can tolerate that discomfort, that little pain, then you can appreciate what you really have and what you are. There are no further comments now and questions. Would it be a good time to have some meditation now?
Yeah, and there's just one more thing I wanted to say about waste thoughts. And they say that certain personality types, the more highly sensitive type people, they actually need maybe 1 hour, 2 hours per day where they don't try to control their thoughts at all. And just let the mind loose and let it go wherever it wants. And this kind of liberation of the mind, if I might need that 1 hour or 2 every day, and then the rest of the time I can pay attention and focus and concentrate and be attentive in all of this. But for some people, too much concentration is actually not the best way to deal with the self. So I just wanted to flag this, because after I started doing this myself, I became actually a happier person. So I have 1-2 hours when I go for a walk, I just let my mind loose. And then the rest of the time I'm doing the work I'm sharing with you. So it's also a way of getting to know the self. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Would you like to conduct meditation for us?
Yeah. You know how long time do we have?
Yeah, definitely 5 minutes.
So I'll ask everyone to relax. And we start the meditation by relaxing the body. And we take a deep breath.